One of the most common decisions we have to make every day is to either try something new, like a new restaurant, or continue going to the same spot that we know and love. But how do we come to make this decision? When do we know when we should use a movement or strategy that we're familiar with versus trying something new? So say you're given these two choices. 1, you reap the benefits of a known solution, or 2, you continue to search and hope for better solutions. This is what we call the exploitation-exploration dilemma. Okay, so tell me if this sounds familiar to you. I used to train with this guy where all he wanted to do was win. He never wanted to work on anything. He just relied on what he knew and what worked to an extent. And then he'd get upset when you'd try things during games. We all know how this ends. Eventually, he hit diminishing returns. So in the last video, we talked about the 3 different types of people that you want to practice with. And we're going to continue that by going over the mindset to bring with you before you even begin practice. What you want is you want to know what your intention is, and then you want to know what you're focusing your attention on. Let's make this easy by just setting a goal. So why do we set a goal? Because we need something to aim at. Jordan Peterson frequently talks about this. He says that many of us are afraid to set goals because that sets conditions for failure. But since this entire series is about learning, that's okay. That's what we're here for. Here's a bit from my coach Greg that I want to leave you with. The next part is very important. I won't even try to put this into my own words and will just quote directly from him. Once a skill is stabilized, it has to be destabilized. You have to find a new intention for that action. Try to do something different, or you will hit diminishing returns. The brain is a novelty-seeking machine. So every time you play a game or a match, play with intention. Just keep in mind though, this intention doesn't always have to be about learning or improvement. Have some practices that are focused on learning, some that are focused on confidence, some that are focused on fun. Play games where it's not just about winning. It's okay to play games where it's not just about winning. Just know what you're doing and what you're working on. So in this video, we're going to go over exploitation and exploration. In exploitation, you're strictly trying to win and leverage the skills you've been working on. Basically, present your best performing self. You're focused on winning with the tools you've developed. In exploration, you're still trying to win, but your first priority is working on the desired skill set. So this is a really important reminder. When you're in exploration, you do not let your partner's desires for winning keep you from learning. Before each game, just know when you're training and when you're trying to win. If you're training, this is where you play games. This is where you're free to make mistakes. My coach Greg would talk about this all the time. Your brain likes mistakes. Your brain wants to find out the solution. And if you're trying to win, this is where you play games where mistakes are not to be made. For example, if you're playing open play and your intent is exploration, create your own rules for winning a game. It could be something like, I'd win if I'm only using my forehand, or if I hit 5 lobs to the back right corner. At the end of the game, what matters is if you won by the rules that you created and not by the points tallied up between both teams. Figuring out when and where to apply these two mindsets is going to depend on you. On one hand, you don't want to become fixated on your strengths to the detriment of your overall development. On the other hand, you don't want to constantly be switching between skills without mastery. One way to look at it is if you have a tournament coming up, you want to be in exploitation. Refine the winning tools you developed. And while you're playing in the tournament, stay with what's working. After tournaments, go into exploration. Ideally, you're recording your matches so you know where your deficiencies lie and understand what contributed to your wins and losses so you can explore them further in practice. Exploration precedes exploitation. So in conclusion, learning is about getting out of your comfort zone, but you also want to retain knowledge and explore existing knowledge. This really comes down to balance and figuring out what that looks like for you. Context is everything. Go out there, give it a try, and let me know how it goes.